Hello and welcome to this video. Today I want to tell you a powerful story. It's a story that can change your life. It's not a story of success. It's not about a man who got everything he wanted. It's about a man who lost something very important. Why? Because he didn't speak English. This story is very real. Maybe you are like this man. Maybe you are looking for a better job. Maybe you have dreams. Maybe you want to travel, grow, or be free. But there's something stopping you, and that thing is language. This story is not here to make you sad. It's here to wake you up, to inspire you, to remind you that English is not just a school subject. It's a tool, a bridge, a door, a new beginning. At the end of the video, I will give you a message. So stay until the end. If this story speaks to you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Now let's begin the story of Karim, a young man with big dreams and one big problem. He didn't speak English. Karim grew up in a small town where life was simple. People knew each other, markets were small, and work was often in the fields or small shops. But Karim always dreamed of something more. He wanted to move to the city and find a real job, earn good money, and help his family. He wanted a better future, and he believed the city was the place to start. One day, Karim told his parents, "I want to go to the city." His mother looked worried, but his father nodded. "We believe in you," his father said. So, with a small bag, some clothes, and hope in his heart, Karim left for the city. The first days were not easy. The city was noisy, fast, and full of people. Karim didn't know anyone. He slept in a shared room with 3 other men. He ate cheap food and looked for jobs every day. He went to many offices, markets, hotels, and restaurants. One day he saw a sign on a door, "We are hiring, hotel assistant needed. Ask inside." Karim felt excited. He went inside. The hotel was beautiful. It had clean floors, big lights, and kind staff. He met a manager named Mr. Thomas. "Hello," Mr. Thomas said. Karim smiled but said nothing. Mr. Thomas looked confused. "Do you speak English?" he asked. Karim wanted to say something, but he didn't know the words. He only said, "Little English." Still, the manager was kind. He gave Karim a paper and said, "Fill this form. Come back tomorrow." Karim went home and asked his roommate for help with the form. The next day, he came back with the form, dressed in clean clothes and full of hope. Mr. Thomas looked at the paper and said, "Your experience is small, but we can train you. We just need basic English for this job. You need to speak with guests." Karim smiled nervously. "I can learn," he said. Mr. Thomas smiled back and said, "Okay, I'll give you a chance. Come Monday at 8 a.m. Karim was so happy. He called his mother that night. "Mama, I got the job," he said. She cried on the phone. They thanked God. It felt like the beginning of a new life, but Karim didn't know that English would soon become a wall he couldn't climb. Karim woke up very early. The sun was not up yet, but he was already out of bed. He felt excited and nervous at the same time. He wore the best clothes he had and looked at himself in the mirror. "This is the beginning," he whispered to himself. He left the house with a smile and walked quickly to the hotel. When he arrived, Mr. Thomas greeted him with a smile. "Good morning, Karim," he said. Karim replied, "Good morning." He had practiced that phrase the night before. It felt good to say it and be understood. Mr. Thomas introduced him to another worker named Maria. Maria had worked at the hotel for 2 years. She spoke English well and also a little of Karim's native language. She was kind and patient, and she helped Karim understand his tasks. She showed him how to clean rooms, how to use the vacuum, and how to place towels and soaps correctly. Karim listened carefully. He worked slowly but with care. He wanted to do everything perfectly. After a few hours, Maria said, "Now we will greet a guest. You will be with me." Karim followed her to the front door. A couple walked in, smiling. "Good afternoon. Welcome," Maria said. She turned to Karim. "Say welcome," she whispered. Karim smiled and said, "Welcome." The guest smiled back and said, "Thank you." Karim felt proud. It was a small word, but it felt big inside him. Later that day, he had to carry a suitcase to a guest's room. The guest was an older man from Canada. He said, "Can you please take this to room 210? Karim didn't understand everything, but he recognized the word room and 210. So he nodded and took the suitcase. The man said, "Thank you, young man," and gave him a small tip. Karim smiled and said, "Thank you." That night, Karim went home tired but happy. He had done it. His first day was a success. He felt like he was growing. He told his roommates every detail. They clapped and laughed with him. Before sleeping, Karim said, "I will learn English. I want to do better." He opened a small notebook and wrote new words. Welcome. Room. Thank you. Good morning. He read them again and again. Then he closed his eyes and dreamed of speaking fluently one day. But tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow the job would become more difficult, and his lack of English would become a real problem. The next morning, Karim arrived at the hotel early again. He felt confident after his first day. He wore the same smile and brought his notebook with him, hoping to learn even more words. Maria welcomed him and gave him his first task. "Please clean the rooms on the second floor today," she said. Karim understood and nodded. He took the cleaning cart and went upstairs. The first room was easy. The second room was also fine. But when he reached the third room, a guest was waiting at the door. The guest looked upset. He was a tourist from Germany and he spoke fast English. "There's no hot water in the bathroom. I called the desk but nobody came. What is going on?" Karim froze. He didn't understand the full sentence. He heard water, bathroom, and nobody came, but the rest was a mystery. He tried to say something, but his words were slow. "Sorry. I don't understand." The guest looked even more frustrated. "Can't you speak English?" he shouted. Karim lowered his eyes. He felt small and powerless. The guest shook his head and walked past him. He went straight to the reception. Later, Mr. Thomas called Karim. "Karim, come to my office, please," he said. Karim entered the small office and sat down. Mr. Thomas closed the door and looked serious. "Karim, I know you're trying. I see you work hard. But today we had a complaint. The guest said you didn't help him. He felt ignored." Karim said, "I'm sorry. I didn't understand him. He spoke very fast." Mr. Thomas nodded. "Yes, I understand. But you need basic English. This is a hotel. Guests expect communication." Karim felt a deep pain in his chest. He had tried. He wanted this job. He needed this job. "I will learn," he said. "I promise." Mr. Thomas looked kind, but also tired. "You have one more week. Please try to improve. Talk with Maria. Use the internet. Practice every day. But if there are more complaints, I will have no choice." Karim left the office quietly. He didn't cry, but his eyes were wet. His dream was shaking, and the only thing standing between him and success was a language. That night, Karim didn't eat much. He sat with his notebook for hours. But this time the words didn't feel friendly. They felt like mountains. Difficult and far away. He asked himself, why didn't I learn before? Why did I wait? But regret doesn't help. Only action does. And Karim still had 7 days to fight for his job. Karim didn't sleep well that night. He kept thinking about the words of Mr. Thomas. You have 1 more week. Those words repeated in his head again and again like a drumbeat. He knew this job was important, not just for money, but for his future and his pride. The next morning, before going to work, he opened YouTube on his old phone. He searched Learn English for Beginners. A video appeared, Basic English for Hotel Workers. He clicked on it and listened. The woman in the video spoke slowly. Hello, can I help you? Karim repeated after her. Hello, can I help you? Do you need something? He repeated, do you need something? Where is your room? He tried again and again. He paused the video, wrote the words down, and played it again. It was hard, but it gave him hope. On his way to the hotel, he repeated the phrases to himself. He looked strange, talking to the air, but he didn't care. He was practicing. At work, Maria saw his tired face. You look different, she said. Karim replied, I study. I learn English. Maria smiled. That's great. I can help you. We can practice together during lunch. At lunch, they sat in the small kitchen. Maria took a napkin and wrote on it. Here are some important phrases, she said. The bathroom is there. I will help you. Please wait a moment. I understand. I don't understand. Karim repeated each sentence. She corrected his pronunciation. Sometimes they laughed. Sometimes it was difficult. But Karim didn't give up. He also downloaded a free app on his phone. The app gave him 5 new words a day. He learned towel, key, guest, clean, and water. He used them in simple sentences. He spoke them while working. He whispered them in the hallway. Clean room. Give key. Water hot? One guest asked, Can I get more towels, please? Karim smiled. Yes, 1 moment, he said. He went to the laundry and brought clean towels. The guest smiled back. Thank you, she said. That night, for the first time in days, Karim felt a little peace. He was not perfect, he was not fluent, but he was moving forward. He looked at the paper Maria had given him. He added more words. Speak slowly, please. I'm learning English. I want to help. He made a promise to himself. I will not lose this job because of fear. I will fight with every word I can learn. But the week was not over, and the real test was still coming. Karim had already been working at the hotel for 5 days. He had studied every night. He had practiced with Maria every lunch break. He had used new words with guests. But now the week was almost over, and Mr. Thomas would soon decide if Karim could stay or not. Karim woke up early on Friday. He looked at himself in the mirror. His face was tired, but his eyes were full of determination. He said out loud, I can do this. Just 1 more day. He put his notebook in his pocket and left the house. When he arrived at the hotel, Maria walked over to him. Big day today, she said. Yes, Karim replied. I try my best. Maria nodded. Good luck, my friend. You have done so much already. That day, Mr. Thomas asked Karim to help in the lobby. Usually, Karim worked in the rooms, where he didn't have to speak much. But today, the hotel was busy. Guests were arriving and leaving, the phones were ringing. Everyone was in a rush. Karim was nervous, but he knew this was his chance. He had to show what he could do. A man walked into the hotel. He looked around and said, Hi, I have a reservation for tonight. My name is William Carter. Karim smiled. He had practiced this. One moment, please, he said politely. He walked to the receptionist and told her, Mr. Carter has a reservation. The receptionist thanked him and took care of the guest. Karim stood tall. He had spoken clearly. He had done it. A little later, a woman came to him with a problem. Excuse me, the light in my room doesn't work. Can someone fix it? Karim replied, Yes, I will call maintenance. Room number? 308, she said. Karim called the maintenance staff on the radio and explained the problem in simple English. The woman smiled. Thank you, young man. Karim smiled back, proud. But not everything went well. One guest was upset about a lost bag. He shouted quickly, and Karim could only understand a few words. But I lost. Important. Nobody helps. Karim stayed calm. He said, Sorry, I call manager. Please wait. He went to get Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas solved the problem, then turned to Karim and said, You did the right thing. You stayed calm. You asked for help. Good work. At the end of the day, Mr. Thomas called Karim to his office again. Karim sat down, his heart beating fast. Was it good news or bad news? Mr. Thomas looked at him seriously. Then he smiled. Karim, I have watched you this week. You made mistakes, but you tried, you studied, you improved, you spoke to the guests, you asked for help when you didn't understand. That's all I wanted to see. Karim couldn't believe it. He asked, I can stay? Mr. Thomas nodded. Yes, you have the job. Karim stood up and said, Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. As he walked home, the sky looked brighter. He had done it. Not because he spoke perfect English, but because he didn't give up. Karim felt different after that Friday. He had kept his job. He had proven that even without perfect English, a strong heart and a learning mind could open doors. But he also knew the journey wasn't finished. He didn't want to just keep the job. He wanted to grow. So Karim created a new routine. Every morning before going to work, he listened to 10 minutes of English on his phone. Sometimes it was a podcast for beginners. Other times it was a video from YouTube with subtitles. He would repeat every sentence. He didn't care if he sounded funny. He knew practice was the only way to improve. At lunch, instead of relaxing or scrolling on his phone, he sat with Maria and practiced small conversations. They chose different situations every day. How to help a guest with luggage. How to ask for the room number. How to explain directions to the elevator. Maria pretended to be a guest, and Karim practiced answering clearly. In the evening, when he got home, he opened his notebook. He wrote down all the new words he had heard during the day. He added new sentences. Then he read them out loud to himself. Sometimes he recorded his voice and listened again. This helped him hear his mistakes. Little by little, his confidence grew. One evening, his roommate asked, "Why are you working so hard on English?" Karim smiled and replied, "Because I know now. English is not just a school subject. It's not just for exams. It's a key. a key that opens many doors. He continued, "Last week I almost lost my job. Not because I was lazy, not because I didn't care, but because I couldn't speak a language. I don't want that to happen again." His roommates started to listen more. They began to ask him questions. One of them downloaded the same English app. Another asked to join the lunch conversations with Maria. Karim smiled. He was no longer learning just for himself. He was becoming an example. At work, the change was visible. Guests were asking for him by name. "Where is Karim? He helped me yesterday." "He's very kind, and he understands now." One guest gave him a compliment. "You speak better English than when I first arrived. Good job, young man." Karim said, "Thank you, sir. I'm learning every day." Mr. Thomas noticed it too. "You're growing fast, Karim," he said. "You started quiet and scared. Now you're helpful and confident. Keep going. There is more for you here if you continue." Karim nodded with gratitude. He was no longer the boy who stood silent at the door. He was a team member, a worker who spoke, a learner who inspired. But this was just the beginning of a bigger journey. Karim had new dreams now, dreams that required more than just simple English, and he was ready to chase them. Weeks passed. Karim continued his routine of learning English every single day. He started to understand more conversations at work. He didn't feel lost anymore when guests spoke quickly. Even if he didn't catch every word, he understood the meaning. He could ask simple questions like, "Can you repeat that, please?" Or "Can you speak slowly?" And most people were happy to help him. Mr. Thomas gave him more responsibilities. Instead of just cleaning or carrying bags, Karim was now helping guests check in. He would greet them with a smile and say, "Welcome to the hotel. Do you have a reservation?" He learned to ask for ID, explain the Wi-Fi password, and give simple directions to their room. Sometimes Karim made mistakes. Sometimes he forgot a word. Sometimes guests asked complicated questions, and he had to go find someone else. But he never felt ashamed anymore, because now he knew he was improving. Every day, a little better. Maria continued to support him. She even gave him an English grammar book she used in college. Karim didn't understand everything in the book, but he read one page each night. Sometimes he looked up words on his phone. He added them to his notebook. One evening, while helping an American couple check in, the woman asked him, "You speak good English. Did you study in school?" Karim smiled and said, "No, I learned by myself. YouTube, phone app, talking to people." She laughed and said, "That's amazing. Keep going." That night, Karim walked home feeling proud. He sat on his bed and looked out the window. The stars were bright. He thought about his life. Before, his dream was just to find any job. Now, his dream was bigger. He wanted to work in a big international hotel. He wanted to travel. He wanted to speak English confidently, without fear or hesitation. He even had a new idea. What if I became a manager one day? The thought scared him a little, but it also excited him. He imagined standing at the hotel front desk, wearing a nice suit, speaking to tourists from all over the world. He imagined helping new workers like himself, teaching them how to learn, how to grow, how to believe in themselves. Karim smiled. That dream felt far, but it also felt real. Because he had already done something big. He had changed. He had turned his weakness into strength. And now he had one more powerful thing, a dream. Karim's dream was now growing inside him like a flame. He no longer saw English as something difficult or boring. He saw it as a bridge to the life he wanted. But as his responsibilities at work increased, he also discovered that knowing basic English was not enough anymore. He now had to learn more advanced words and expressions. One day, Mr. Thomas gave Karim a new task. Karim, tomorrow a group of tourists will arrive. They booked 5 rooms. Please prepare the welcome kit and help with the check-in process. Karim nodded. Yes, sir, I will do it. That evening, Karim practiced phrases like, here is your room key. Breakfast is from 7 to 10. The elevator is on your right. But he also had to learn new words: reservation, availability, confirmation, payment method, and invoice. These were not words he used before. He had to look them up one by one and write example sentences. The next day, the tourists arrived. They were from different countries: Canada, Spain, and Japan. Some spoke English very well. Others spoke slowly. Karim welcomed them with a warm smile. He tried to stay calm. One guest asked, "Is early check-in available?" Karim had to think fast. He said, "Let me check with my manager." He ran to Mr. Thomas and asked what to say. Then he returned and explained it to the guest. Another asked, "Can I get an invoice with my company's name?" That was a new situation for Karim. Again, he didn't panic. He said, "One moment, please," and asked for help. Later, he wrote down the word invoice in his notebook. He added a sentence: "An invoice is a paper that shows how much you paid." After the group checked in, Mr. Thomas said, "You handled that very well. I can see your progress every day." Karim smiled, but he knew one thing: he still had a lot to learn. That night, Karim decided to join an online English class. It was free and organized by a local center. He attended classes every weekend. There, he met other people like him: taxi drivers, restaurant workers, cleaners, all trying to improve their English for a better future. In the class, Karim learned new topics: how to write short emails in English, how to explain problems clearly, and how to speak on the phone with customers. At first, it was hard. He made mistakes. His grammar was not perfect. But he never stopped trying. One Saturday after class, the teacher asked each student, "Why do you want to learn English?" Some said, "For my job." Others said, "For travel." When it was Karim's turn, he said, "I want to learn English so I never lose a chance again. I want to help people. I want to grow." Everyone clapped. And in that moment, Karim felt something powerful. He belonged. He was no longer the man who stood silent. He was someone who had a voice, and that voice was getting stronger every day. Months passed. Karim's English improved more and more. He could now have full conversations with guests, answer the phone at the front desk, and even help new employees understand their tasks. Mr. Thomas began to trust him with bigger responsibilities. One day, he asked Karim to train a new worker. Karim was surprised. "Me? Train someone?" he asked. "Yep," Mr. Thomas said. "You know the job well now, and your English is good. You understand what it means to start from zero. You're the right person to help." The new worker's name was Youssef. He was 19 years old and shy. He spoke only a few words in English. Karim saw himself in Youssef. He remembered how scared he felt on his first day. He remembered the mistakes, the silence, the fear. So he took his time. He spoke slowly. He used gestures to help explain. He wrote down useful sentences for Youssef, just like Maria had done for him. He said, "Don't worry, you'll get better. Just practice a little every day." Youssef smiled. He felt hope. One afternoon, during a break, Youssef said, "Karim, how did you learn English? You speak so well now." Karim laughed. "I didn't always speak like this. I learned because I had no choice. I almost lost this job because I didn't speak English. I didn't want that to happen again." Youssef asked, "Was it hard?" "Yes," Karim answered. "Very hard. But every word I learned opened a door. Now I can speak to people from all over the world. I can understand them and they can understand me." Karim began to help more people. Other hotel workers started asking him for help with their English. He shared his favorite videos, his notebooks, and the free apps he used. He became the go-to person when someone had trouble understanding a guest. One day, Maria came to him and said, "You've become a teacher now." Karim smiled. "No, not a teacher. Just someone who shares what he learned." In the hotel, he was now respected by everyone. Mr. Thomas began calling him into team meetings. He asked Karim for ideas on how to improve guest service. He even said, "There may be a supervisor position opening soon. You should think about applying." Karim couldn't believe it. A year ago, he almost lost this job. Now he was being invited to grow further. He thought about his journey, from silence to speech, from fear to confidence, from a worker to a leader. He looked at Youssef and the others learning English now. He thought, if I can do it, so can they. And maybe, one day, they'll help others too. Karim was no longer just learning English. He was building a new life and helping others do the same. 1 year after Karim's first day at the hotel, he stood in the same lobby. But this time, everything was different. He no longer felt nervous or lost. He didn't carry towels or suitcases anymore. Now he wore a clean black jacket and a name badge that said, "Karim, Front Desk Supervisor." Yes, Karim had been promoted. He applied for the supervisor position. He passed the interview in English. He spoke with confidence. He explained how he had helped train new staff, handled difficult situations with guests, and improved his English through self-study and dedication. Mr. Thomas was proud. "You earned this," he said. "You didn't just do your job, you grew." Now Karim had his own desk. He led meetings with the staff. He answered emails in English. He talked to guests from all over the world, from Australia, Germany, Brazil, and more. He even translated for others when they had trouble understanding. But Karim didn't stop there. He joined an evening English class at a local center. He wanted to learn business English. He wanted to write better, speak faster, and think more clearly in English. He read English news. He watched English documentaries. He kept his little notebook and added new phrases every day. One day, a guest asked him, "Where did you study English?" Karim smiled and said, "Everywhere. In my room, on the street, at work. I studied with YouTube, with friends, with mistakes." They laughed together. Karim also started a small English club at the hotel. Every Wednesday after work, workers met for 1 hour. They practiced simple conversations. They played vocabulary games. Sometimes they watched a short English video and talked about it. Karim became their guide, their support, their friend. One day, Youssef stood up at the club and said, "When I came here, I couldn't speak English, but Karim helped me. Now I can speak with guests too. Thank you, Karim." Karim felt something deep inside. Not just pride, but purpose. He had turned his pain into power. He had turned his failure into fuel. Now, Karim dreams even bigger. He wants to visit London one day. He wants to take a full English course at a university. He wants to help others like him. Young people with potential, but no opportunity. He wants to say to the world, if I did it, you can too. Thank you for watching this story until the end. This was the story of Karim, a young man who almost lost his job because he didn't speak English. But instead of giving up, he started learning. Little by little, step by step, word by word. And today, his life is completely different. Maybe you are like Karim at the beginning. Maybe you feel afraid when people speak English. Maybe you think, it's too hard, I'm too late, I can't do it. But Karim's story proves something very important. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start. You can use free tools. You can watch videos like this one. You can repeat new words every day. You can speak, even with mistakes. The only real mistake is not trying, so now it's your turn. Take your notebook. Write down 5 words. Say them out loud. Start now. Your future is waiting, and before you go, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Maybe someone you know needs this story today. Maybe you will be the next success story. Thank you again, and keep learning.